I'm going to start today by speaking to Mama Edwards, also Betty Luckham and Auntie Julie Asumu. Welcome, ladies. Hello to all of you.
Hello, thank you.
Hello.
Thank you for the invitation.
Mama Edwards, I'll just turn to you first and just ask you, just tell us about your beginnings, coming to Manchester, that kind of thing. How your background a little bit.
I came to this country in 1961. My husband came in 1960, and I came in 61. And believe me, I couldn't believe that people could be so cruel. I come from Guyana, and they say South America, don't they? Mm-hmm. And as I said, I came over in 61. And the racism hit me so hard. I know that other people suffered the same kind of brutal way like I did. But I'm a very strong-minded person, and I don't get pushed away very quickly. There has to be a reason. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I tried to get a job and couldn't get anything, because of the color of my skin.
Mm-hmm. They saw color first.
That's right, mm-hmm. Yeah. So eventually, after not getting a job, I decided to look after children, what they call child mining at the time, and ended up with £5 per week. And believe me, that was a lot of money in those days, because you could go to the shop and get your baskets full, which is different today. Yeah. Right. So I decided, that, and my husband was very angry because he said, "You're worth more than that. You should get a better job." So I applied to, at the time, the advice center was being set up. And I applied, and lo and behold, I got a job which paid me hundreds of pounds at the end of the month. Mm-hmm. And I just couldn't get over it, moving from such a small sum, a meager sum, to getting that, at the advice center. And I stayed there for 27 years, working as a community development worker.
Just the same question, I just wanted to ask you about coming to the UK and your home country as well. You just talk to us a little bit about that.
Yes, my home country, Guyana, as Eloise has said. My husband and I were both students at the London School of Economics. I came to Manchester employed by the Commission in the United Kingdom for the West Indies Federation. That was a very short-lived, but that involved coming to Manchester as a community development worker, knocking on doors, walking the streets, knocking on doors. And guess whose door I knocked at? I knocked at the door of Eloise and her husband, invited them to community meetings which I organized in the local church hall. Mm-hmm. And that was the start of my involvement and activity in Manchester.
I know your home country, but for the audience, let us know about your home country and coming to Manchester, your first thoughts and feelings.
When I first came to England, I was here to help my son, whose wife had twins as first delivery, just to support them to look after the children. Otherwise, I was a trained social worker in Africa, struggling to bring awareness and well-being to the grassroots back home, and it could be very difficult. And on coming to Manchester, I found that so many things have been put in place to support people at grassroots level. And the first name that came to my ears was, if you want to work in the community, have you met Mrs. Edwards? And I said, no. And when you talk about community, they just direct you to her. So that's how we came to know each other. Yeah. And there became my second home. because everything she was doing, I saw light in it and I wanted to buy into it. So when the issue of chrysalis came up, we were hand in hand, and we worked hard to set it up.
Let me just ask you about what community and culture means to each of you.
What can I say? I think I was born to do doing this kind of work, you know, because I started out coming over from Guyana, meeting strange people. We have a different culture, or at least we had it at the time. I'm over here now over 50 years, so things have changed. I mean, I know that we've got some of the cultures in Guyana, you know, this light skin, dark skin kind of nonsense, you know, that happens. And it's happening until now.
And Betty, the same question, when it comes to community and culture, obviously, like Mama's talking about home country and, you know, the clash here.
Mm-hmm.
You tell us a little bit about what you saw.
You've got to be determined to go out and work in the community and help to get projects going.
Yeah.
I recall going to the council meeting of the city council to with our application for site for karaoke, and explained where we were up to, and you get what I call nod, nod and wink, wink, and people smile. They approved in principle to the establishment of a business enterprise, but not at the site that we were after. That was too good for us. But we were not going to accept that because the location was important for what we were trying to do. So I went to the offices of 3 MPs and explained to them what we were doing and why we were stuck. And our dear MP who died recently,
Mr. Joe Kaufman.
Joe Kaufman, he took it up. He wrote a letter. He got 7 Manchester MPs to sign that letter to the City Council to explain and say that was what we wanted. And I'll always be grateful to him because that was a crucial movement at the time and led to the agreement that we could have the site which we presently occupy.
You know that education, the culture and heritage is important. Any other words you want to say for the younger people, to inspire some of the younger people? Because some of those are already parents themselves now.
The issue that, you know, prompted me to look at education, so, you know, is because I was seeing even the black teachers, right, because they were getting the same kind of, well, it's a modus operandi then, right? It wasn't working for us. That is one of the reasons why I set up the Roots Festivals, which went on for how many years? Can't even 27 years, I think it was. Yeah, and children that grew up in that era, right? They seem to have a little different outlook because they've managed to get a little bit of their history told to them by an African person like themselves. You see, so because of that, even when I was finished working, I carried on, and I would love, in fact, a lot of those, they're not youngsters anymore now, you know, they're grown up, they've got their own children. But they come to me and they said, Mrs. Edwards, or Mama Edwards, why don't we set up Roots again? You know, because that program ran for a long time. A lot of young people learned about their backgrounds, you know. And I mean, there's a slight change in some of them. I mean, some of them are little devils, well, big devils. But, you know, it's rubbed off on them, especially if you've got books and papers and things, to let them have a look. And we had people like Gus John and so on, you know, involved in all of those things. So, yeah.
Let me ask you, so what do all you three ladies think about the Naya Centre now? Because that's been sat there and sadly it's not being used and it's right in the centre of the community.
Yeah. Who owns Naya Centre?
Well, we're not going to go into that now.
Yeah,
but
because until you know the owner, in the case of Nello James, when the owner spoke, the whole thing died down, and we followed that principle of what the owner is saying. If the owner of Naya Centre comes today to say, well, it's a community asset, it goes that way.
It's now a church.
Yes,
It's not just the church.
Yeah.
So many things are going on there. When you ask this one, who do I contact to discuss the positive use of Naya Centre?
That's a good point, actually, because the community assets are another important factor of what's happening in the community, because it's changing.
Yeah, I'm just trying to chip in this one. I'm sorry if I'm chipping in something not too good. When the Asians found that type of opportunity,
They'll take it.
they go to the mosque, pull money out of the mosque, buy it. While they are using it, they pay back to the mosque. Which church? How many churches have we got in the first place? Thousands and thousands. How do you get them to come together to say, put money together, get the Naya Centre out of the market, divide it among, if you say Christians, okay. If you say Black Africans, okay. But which church is ready? This one will say, this is my name, my.
It belonged to the BBC, you know, initially.
Before, yes.
Yeah, because the manager of the BBC, I went to him along with, was it Richard? Could have been Richard, to say that this place is up, you know, for sale, and we are trying to implant in our young people their history and culture. And would you be prepared to say yes to us, you know, so that you can? And he said, I am saying thousands of yeses because I know what you have been doing, Eloise. You know, so that is how we got the Naya Centre in the first place.
Okay, so well, let's wrap it up then, because we're talking about the past history there, and we're coming into a current time. Let me ask all three wonderful ladies, about what you see for community prospects, you know, for community in the future. I don't know, Auntie Julie, if you want to start, you can.
Well, if you look at the community work for the future, when Mama came to come in to say, let's come and start Chrysalis Come, because she was then active in the community. She struggled to get that place. It was an abandoned road, the whole road. Every house there was boarded up. Where Chrysalis is now was a smoking and injection depot. The windows were off, the doors were dilapidated. And when they gave it to us, everybody was kicking off. And she was the only one who said, out of every bad thing, something good will always come out. Let us take it, let the community join hands and repair it. We brought it to a level now where people are being queuing for houses on that road, and it's now they are telling us, you get out of here. If we all join together to have a place like Naya Centre, we divide it among ourselves. Let everybody know what we are doing. It becomes a community center in a way that everything is going on there. Then it will make but before you know it, we are going to do it like this until the Asians go and pull out money from the mosque again. Before you know it, they put sold up there.
We need more unity.
We need more unity. We need to come together. No one person is blacker than the other.
Okay.
We are all black as far as the white man is concerned.
Black and white were concocted so that we could be at each other's throats. So anybody asks me, who are you? I am an African. That's what I say. I'm not black. That's black what you've got on, right? And the white, this is white. Yeah, but we have accepted that color, irrespective of the fact that it denigrates us.
Yes. We understand. I know you're coming from the Pan-Africanist view, of course, of course. And yeah, for
As
the
for
future.
me, I don't care about whether we are black or
You
blacker
should,
than charcoal.
because that is our
let our mind disabuse our mind from that type of thing. What can we do together?
We're all coming from the same viewpoint.
Yeah, we all come from the same God. No, but you can't say a white man has two heads. We all have one head each. So,
Okay. And actually, Betty, I'll give you the last word, Mama. Betty, what do you think about community prospects for the future? What do you see, or any last words on what you think could be done?
Well, I think there are more young people who are aware of their destiny, where they come from, and they are willing to contribute. I'm very optimistic, think that things are going to improve.
Yes. That's good to hear. So some optimism and some hope, and of course,
Mm.
bringing in more young people to carry on and to do more. In the
Yes.
community. Okay, thank you, Betty. And Mama, just some last words from you as what you see for community prospects. Any words you want to say there?
I look around and I think to myself, what is wrong with us? What is wrong with people?
What you wanted to give a warning to the community to,
Yes.
to try harder, or
Yes, you know, because we have even our children now don't want to hear what we have to say. Oh, I'm born in England and I'm English. That's all they want to know, right? And unless they understand, yes, you were born here, but a cat born in an oven is still a cat. It's not a loaf of bread. Yeah. So that is my my summary.
I take your point on wholeheartedly, and of course we need to pass on the baton to those in the community that want to do and keep spreading the love. So I'm going to say
Thank
I'm
you.
going to say appreciate love to all three.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.